This is my well, finally I'm doing another video. I haven't done a video in quite a while. I've just been, really busy with, work and some other stuff. I had some issues with, my debit card and stuff like that. Just some, personal things I had to sort out. But I said I'd do this mock draft, about 4 weeks ago, just before the draft. So it's Tuesday today. And yeah, so I'll do it like I did last time. I'll do it in 3 parts, but it will be a full 100% realistic predicted draft. Basically, I'm going to include trades and what I really think will happen. So I'll probably do the first 12 picks in part one. So get started right away. Obviously, from my last video, my opinion hasn't changed on who the number one pick would be. To the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I think it'll be Jameis Winston, quarterback from Florida State. Nothing really needs to be said. He's, arguably the best prospect in the draft, and he's a future, he's a quarterback who the Buccaneers will have for 10, 15 years. You'd think, if he progresses the way he should. So Jameis Winston, number one. Number two, this is where I've got a mega trade happening. The Tennessee Titans have been looking to maybe trade the second overall pick. And I think it's going to come from a long way back in the first round. I think it's going to be the Philadelphia Eagles from number 20. So I think, obviously, the Eagles they'll give the Titans then 20th pick in the first round this year for the number two. But the Titans, I think, will also get next year's first round pick from the Eagles, a third round pick, and possibly Sam Bradford, quarterback. There's been a lot of rumours that since the Eagles traded Sam Bradford, that they will trade him on. The Titans could get him at great value, obviously, in that trade, not having to give anything up for him, and they get this year's first round pick, a first round pick from the Eagles next year, and a third next year, or this year. I don't know about the third pick. Could be this year or next year. Titans will probably want it this year, but and that will push the Eagles up from 20 to number 2 in the first round, and they'll select Marcus Mariota from Oregon, the quarterback. Chip Kelly is, as everyone knows, is a massive admirer of him. His biggest fan, and his best spot is in Philadelphia because of the system Chip Kelly runs. So no brainer. That's my massive trade. So I think Mariota to the Eagles at number 2. Then at 3, the Jaguars. Easy. I think they'll go with Dante Fowler Jr., outside linebacker / defensive end from Florida. Easy selection. He's going to be a star. So in the NFL, he's going to be a 10 sack guy plus. He's going to be in the double digits most seasons in terms of sacks. So yeah, Jags I think will take Dante Fowler. At number 4, the Oakland Raiders. I think in my last mock draft I went with Kevin White, wide receiver, at number 4 to the Raiders. Since then I've changed. Still wide receiver, but I think it's going to be Amari Cooper from Alabama, who is my preferred player out of the two. Amari Cooper, I think, he's the most polished wide receiver in the draft class. But a lot of people say he's the most polished, but there's 5 or 6 others that have the potential to be better than him. 1 or 2 of them, it's true, but I think people are underestimating how much Amari Cooper can still improve. So to the Raiders, give the young quarterback Derek Carr a target for a few years in Amari Cooper. I think that's the way they'll go. And number 5, it's the Redskins. I think they'll go with Leonard Williams, in my opinion, the best overall player in the draft, defensive tackle from USC. So I think obviously they lost Brian Orakpo, but I don't think he was as good in the last couple of years as he was at the beginning of his career. And They do have a need on the opposite side of Ryan Kerrigan, but they can improve that in the later rounds because of the depth at the pass rushing position basically. And the interior of the line is either not great or they have a couple of good players who are old, so they could do with that really good interior, 3-4 defensive end, and I think that'll be Leonard Williams. And number 6, the hated New York Jets. I'm not going to lie, I do think what they've done so far in their off season has been really good. Shame to say that, but got to be honest. So, and I think they'll hit the jackpot again with their pick in the first round. I think they'll go with Vic Beasley. The interior of the line is just disgustingly good. But they have lacked that outside guy, especially with Tom Brady in the division. The epic Tom Brady, I should say. But yeah, I think they'll go with Vic Beasley from Clemson. And number 7 is the Chicago Bears. With the Bears, they've got a few needs they could address. But I think they're going to go Shane Ray out of Missouri, defensive end. Their defense was atrocious last year, so I think Shane Ray is definitely going to be a player they'll look to take. And I think in Chicago's defense, he'll have a good opportunity to start right away, and improve the defense right away, I should say. And number 8 is the Atlanta Falcons. I think again, pass rusher, defensive end / outside linebacker is going to be the pick. There's so many great players at that position, and I think it's going to be Randy Gregory. He did fail a drug test at the combine, but he's so good that I don't think it'll matter basically. It was only like marijuana anyway, so who cares? But yeah, I think Randy Gregory because he suits what Dan Quinn, the Atlanta Falcons head coach now, had in Seattle as the defensive coordinator. He suits that, speedy guy off the edge, but unlike what they have got in Seattle, he's got the size as well. That probably Cliff Averill, the best pass rusher on the outside in Seattle, doesn't have. He's only 6'3", I think, and Randy Gregory is 6'6", so that's definitely an advantage there. And he's got and probably maybe the best burst off the line out of anyone. So I think Randy Gregory to the Falcons at number 8. At number 9 is the New York Giants. I think they're going to go defensive tackle, and I think they'll go Malcolm Brown. A lot of people, have Danny Shelton going in the top 10, and quite a lot of them have him going to the Giants. But the thing is, Danny Shelton will be a really good player, but he's a nose tackle. Malcolm Brown can play nose tackle, can play defensive tackle, can play 3-4 defensive end, and his pass rushing ability is really good. And it is better. It's not Leonard Williams, obviously, but it's really good. And I think the Giants have always wanted that in the past with their interior guys, able to get up the field and pressure the quarterback from the interior. So I think Malcolm Brown from Texas to the Giants would be a good pick. At number 10 is the Rams, who I think will go with Kevin White. They got Nick Foles in a trade with the Eagles a few weeks ago, so they could do with adding a few weapons for Nick Foles. So I think Kevin White would be a great pick at number 10 if he lasts to the 10th pick. And number 11, it's the Minnesota Vikings. I think this is where we'll see the first cornerback taken off the board, and it'll be Trey Waynes from Michigan State. No brainer. They need an improvement at that position, and he's superb talent. So easy pick. And this will be the last pick I'll do in my part 1. It's the Cleveland Browns at 12, and I think they'll go with Devontae Parker from Louisville, the wide receiver. Probably the guy I think who has the most upside out of anyone. Devontae Parker. He's 6'3", nearly 6'4". Just in his leaping ability is just out of this world. So, and the Browns obviously have a big need at wide receiver. Josh Gordon, their main guy the last couple of years, has been suspended again, another year or something. So they have a big need, and I think Devontae Parker will be the guy, and I think that'll be a great selection for the Browns. So that's my first 12 picks of the first round in my part 1. I'll do part 2 and part 3 today as well. Might be a couple more trades, we'll see. So hope you guys enjoyed, and yeah, hope you like it.